No. Oh, hey folks, I'm Lee Scandao. You're watching MeadvilleCalendar.com. I'm playing foosball here with a pretty cool person. Do you want to say who you are, what we're doing here?
Hi, I'm Jessica Setta, and I'm playing foosball. I work with Bethany Christian Services, and we are housed here at New Beginnings Church.
I slyly stopped us from playing because I was losing, so I thought it would be the best thing to do.
Good choice.
Now, a while back we visited Tori here, who also works with Bethany, and we checked out a couple places. We'll check out a couple other ones, but can you just give us like a brief, like what are some things that Bethany does?
We are a full adoption agency, so I like to say we do before, during, and after. So we have pregnancy counseling services that meet with birth moms that are experiencing a crisis pregnancy, whether they're choosing an adoption plan or to parent. We just want them to make that choice successfully. So we have those services, and then we have adoption services for domestic, international, foster care. And then we have our post-permanency services, which is kind of the main thing that we do here in Meadville. That's kind of where our focus is right now.
That's awesome. And what is like this room that we're actually in right now?
This is the Loft. This is the new youth center at New Beginnings.
That's so cool. Now, do you guys get to use the youth center with any of your projects or anything like that?
Yes. The church gives us access to whatever rooms we need. We just request what room we need for different things. We actually have a training coming up at the end of the month here. Actually, 1 week from today, we'll be kicking it off, and it'll be held up here. So,
Oh, it'll be in this room?
yes.
And what's the training?
It's TBRI, Trust-Based Relational Intervention, and it's for caregivers. So anyone that's active with kids that have a trauma background, it's really great information.
That's so cool. I feel like there's so many good like trauma-based work that's going on around Crawford County. I got to go to your Empowered to Connect conference, and that was really awesome.
Yes, a lot of good information, kind of like
Yeah.
drinking from the fire hydrant. It was like a blast of information.
I know, it was awesome. And this space, like when we visited Tori, it was not like this at all. And now it's like this beautiful, gorgeous like space. And they have like a young adult group that meets here, is that right?
Yes, they have a lot of different small groups that use space here.
Cool. I think we'll check out another spot too. And on the way, do you want to tell us what are some things like? So what's the training of the TBRI? How did you guys like get interested in that?
It's something that's very well known in the trauma field and with post-adoption work. We actually had received a grant about a year and a half ago that allowed me to go to Texas to be a TBRI practitioner. So I was able to do that training and bring that resource back to our community, which was huge. And we actually just applied for another grant and were granted, so we're sending 2 staff in October.
Oh, cool.
So we'll have additional staff, which is cool.
That's awesome. And what's your connection been with New Beginnings? Like, how do you guys work together?
Well, it was really interesting. We actually, when I had first started this program a few years ago, I was told, like, this is the way that we're going, we need this program, and we didn't have any office space. So I was like, well, we've got this, we do support groups and all different stuff, and I was like, well, I don't think my husband's okay with us like running support groups out of our house. I don't think that's gonna work. So I kept driving by this church and I saw how busy it was all the time, and I was like, there's something there. And I'm a little slow, so it took me a little while. But
and you saw the motorcycle parking.
Yeah.
And that was
yeah, I was like, all right. But I made a couple contacts and scheduled a meeting, and we sat down, and a whole handful of the church staff had an adoption story. And they said, well, actually, we want to get this special needs ministry off the ground, and maybe you can help us with respite. And so it really became a natural partnership right from the beginning.
Yeah. Do you know anything like is adoption pretty prevalent in this county? Is there? It
is. There's a lot of families. The other piece, I know we talk about post-permanency and some, post-adoption work, but that falls under even kinship. So what we see a lot now is grandparents raising grandkids or family members stepping in if there's just all different issues, whether it's, the parents weren't ready to be parents, or there's drug and alcohol or mental health. Our services can really step in and help those families through our post-permanency services.
So when they're coming to you, and then they're kind of being equipped with all of these kind of like tools, really. Yeah. And in that Empowered to Connect conference, I think that was something that came to me. It was like, it is a lot about like these tool and skill building, and about like kids and parents kind of like working together to like do this family thing together. Yes,
it's definitely a partnership. And I think so many of the times, like, our generation was kind of raised as like, do what I say, and like end of discussion, but really having it be more of a conversation. And that relationship piece is really important, because how are our kids going to advocate for themselves in relationships when they're adults if they haven't learned to do that safely as kids? So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And so the TBRI, that's this weekend?
That'll be starting next Monday. So it's a 4-day training. The first day is introduction and overview, and what is trauma and how does it affect kids that we work with. The second day is connecting. It's kind of really heavy material, because it's what are we bringing, what's our attachment style, what are we bringing to our relationship with the kids that we work with or kids that we have. And so that's kind of a heavy day. And how were you raised? How does that impact how you're raising kids? Then the next day is empowering, and I really like that one because I'm a doer. So like, give me a checklist and I can get that done. So it's a lot of sensory needs, meeting the child's physiological needs, environmental needs. So it's pretty cool. And then we do correcting on the last day.
And that's so cool. And there is no cost to that, right?
It's $25 a day, but we do have scholarships available.
Oh, okay, sweet. Yeah.
And so we are offering some different scholarships and partnering with different agencies if they'd like to send.
So people kind of reach out to you.
Yes.
They can call New Beginnings, or they can call Bethany directly. That's so cool. That's awesome. Should we go sit up here first?
Sure.
I might not be able to see this. And what is this? This space can be like rented or used for anything, right?
Yes, they're pretty open at the church about utilizing this space. They want it to be used.
I know Jason and I did for the Grand Leprechaun competition. We did we did an improv show up here.
Nice. I'm sorry I missed that.
Well, it was pretty great.
You never know. It could happen at any time.
Yeah, it could happen right now. We might just do an improv show.
I'll man the camera then.
Do we know any good things going on this week? I know tonight there's a documentary Film for Thought at Meadville Counseling Arts. I'll mention that. This weekend there's lots of performances. Shrek is playing at the Academy, and Sweet Tea and Baby Dreams at Meadville Community Theater. Do you know of anything else going on this week?
Oh, not off the top of my head. I definitely utilize like my Facebook reminders whenever I've liked something that's coming up. But I did take my son to see Shrek. We went on a date last weekend and had gone to see it. It was a great show. Of course, he got the little ears, so he could be a little Shrek also. It was good.
He could be a little.
Nobody wants to be a little Farquaad. No? I mean, a littler Farquaad.
Yeah, the tiniest Farquaad. Cool. Well, anything else that we need to know about Bethany? I mean, I'm sure there's tons.
There's definitely tons. We do a lot of just community outreach stuff. And if you come to our trainings and you receive a packet, it's because of our partnership with Valonia Industries. They come and have workers volunteer and help put packets and things together for our trainings. Awesome. So we've had a lot of really great partnerships with other churches, with other agencies here. It's been a great community builder.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, we'll see you on the town, Meadville. Thanks a bunch.
Bye.
See you.